Hi guys! So today we're painting this Agave. It's Sunset Agave from this book, Learn to Watercolour, 20 Step-by-Step Beginner-Friendly Lessons on Watercolour Paper. This is by Lacey Walker with Rebel Unicorn Crafts. Not associated with her in any way. I bought this book, then found out it was by another YouTuber. But the book's really cool because it comes with all of the stuff you're learning pre-printed on paper. You can just tear out, take down and work from there. So the image we're doing today is this one here, which I'm thinking is going to be a little easier than the flower that I did last week. If you remember, that took me a little while. I struggled on that because I couldn't get the colours quite right. And I was having trouble with the technique. But I think this is going to be a little easier. We've got less to do. I've already pre-mixed my colours. She wanted some permanent yellow, some Parisian blue, some of the magenta, the one that starts with Q that I can't pronounce, and some sap green. Now I've taken to mixing these two to give me a sap green, because neither of them quite look like the image that's in the book. So I've mixed it and I'm hoping that's going to be right now. And I've got my yellow as clear as possible, but as I've got magenta, it's got pink again because apparently I just can't keep the magenta out of the yellow. So the first task is to do the leaves, and we start with the yellow up here and then we move into a bit of the sap green, and then we actually put a little bit of blue down in the bottom here. That seems to be the gist of it. So we will see how it goes. I'm hoping I've mixed up enough thing to. I think I'll start here and move over. We want to do what you call it, ones that aren't touching again, a bit like we did on the flower. I'm just gonna fold the tape back just for a bit because that leaf goes underneath the tape. So if we start with this one, I can get this dry and put the tape down earlier. So I'm gonna pop this down. I'm not too worried about the lines at this point. But we pop some of the yellow in, and then apparently without cleaning our brush, we pick up some of the green and we pop that in, and we want it to blend together. So I might need a tad more water in there so that it blends. And then we go down until we get to kind of there, I think. I'll put some more yellow on the top and blend that down in a second. I don't think I had quite enough water. Yeah, I don't think I had quite enough water to blend it, so let's just put a touch of the blue, maybe a touch more of the blue. Don't think I've got it quite wet enough. I'm gonna add some more water. Because we want that to kind of blend in rather than have harsh lines. So let's just do some more with the yellow up here. Yeah, so possibly could do it a bit more colour saturation here, because what do you think? A little better? Sort of right, isn't it? Do you think I need more yellow? gonna have to try to clean off the pink again. Just, it's gonna have too much of the wrong colour. So I say, if too many more projects have yellow in, I really am gonna have to just open up my better ones and get a yellow from it, because I'm just really struggling to keep this yellow clean, and it's also very worked away at the moment. I think I'm going to try to counteract some of that with some neon yellow, just to try to brighten it back up again, because we want it bright yellow. Let's try that. So, oh, don't want to do those two because they're attend to that. But I think we could probably do that one, because I think the blue's almost dry there because it took so long. No. Do this. And then without cleaning the brush, wasn't it? It was get some green. Still not quite wet enough, I don't think. Yeah, I think we definitely need more water. I don't think we were supposed to get the paper wet. Yeah, we weren't supposed to get the paper wet, but I'm struggling to get it to spread enough, so I might actually pre-wet the paper just slightly. I know that's not what she says to do, but I think for the minute I'm still struggling. I'm just gonna pre-wet just slightly, so hopefully it blends a little better, you know? So it feels a bit better already. Yeah, see how it's blending a little better for me there. I guess I'm just not getting the paint wet enough, but I'm struggling to make enough of the colour and it not be too pastel. So I guess I didn't mix up enough of the colour in the first place. But again, that's about normal for me. I'm trying, you know, I'll get there. So I'm not, I think maybe we're supposed to just not have such just a line there, but more of a randomness green looking at her. So I'm just gonna add a little more green in a couple of places. But I've already used up so much of that green, I need to make up more. So while those are drying a minute, I could do that one, but I haven't really got enough made up. You see how this isn't quite the right colour on its own, but the other one's too dark on its own. So between the two is roughly where I need. You know, as I said, I'm winging it and I'm working with it, and that's all that matters. That I'm finding a way to work with what I have, and I will redo all these lessons once I move on to better paints when I know I'm doing more. But I'm not wasting my good paints by learning. I'm using the not so good paints. These are still good paints, don't get me wrong. And if you know your colours better, you'd be able to tell me exactly what these colours are, I'm sure. And this thing may have come with a leaflet that told you the colours, I don't know. Right, that's got more of the green, let's clean that off. Right, let's just, I got some of the blue into the yellow here, so I'm just going to clean this off. Because we don't want blue in the yellow. Bad enough, I got orange in the yellow. On this point, I might attempt to pick the yellow out because it feels loose and then clean it. I wonder if I can. Should we see? When it come out. I get paint all over my fingers. There we go. Let's do that. Don't recommend this. Don't do this, people. Right. And now I shouldn't get the pink all over it, should I? No can work from that. Right. Just still going to put a bit of this neon on because there's still a touch of the pink in there. So that'll give us the brightness that we want. There we go. Right. So let's do this one. I didn't make it wet again. No, I should have just pulled that tape back there because you see I've just gone over it slightly because the tip. But I'll fix that in a bit. Yeah, I think this is a bit better. I've got more colour. Oh, no, I wasn't supposed to clean my brush, was I? Yeah. More water and colour on it now. I think I just didn't mix up enough. And again, it goes down all the way to the edge on this, but because of the tape, I'm not going to get all the way down. There we go. So I know most of it's probably dry at this point, but I'm gonna make it dry anyway before I touch these other ones. But I definitely think I was just not making enough up. This one blended a little better than the others. I want to get that one dry enough so that I can put the tape back down. That's dry enough. I can do that now. Just want it dry enough that it's not gonna blend together when I do the next bits. If that makes sense. So I'm not too worried at getting it exactly dry because theirs not being touched for a minute. But I wanted like here dry where they meet. Again, the tip goes into the paper there, but never mind. I think that's the other thing. As I was saying on the last one, where you leave off is where most of the water is. And I think I was going that way, I think, at the beginning, wasn't I? Which I think is part of the problem. I need to be leaving the water near the top. We want it to blend there. So that's what direction I need to be going on it. There you go. Too much. Bit more yellow in there. Take some of that colour water off there because I did too much. Yeah. You see how the colour's drying very paler, so I may end up doing a second coat on this just to get the colour more vibrant.
Someone is at the front door.
That is my front door. I will be back in a second. Okay, for you it's been a very short break. For me, I had to get the door. So, we are back to doing this. I think I'm going to do this one because it's the bigger one to get out of the way. I'll take the yellow further down there, but have green go further up there, I think. But we need more water for the green to mix into there, I think. I need to mix more of this green up. Greatly underestimated how much I'd need, which, you know, is about normal for me. I'm sure that's just going to come with practice and time, isn't it? That I work out what I need. Don't know what to do. I think she's got a darker blue edge along there just to differentiate the two, if that makes sense. Because obviously there is a crossover there. Got too much blue into my green there, but never mind. We can pull off some of this. Just trying to pull off some of this water because I definitely put too much on. What's new there? Not enough or too much? I don't know how people keep their colours so separate. I most definitely cannot. Get some more yellow in there. This is not going great. But you see, this has got too harsh a line. I need to break that line up a bit. I know this is one I dried earlier, but now that it's dry, I can see the line is just too harsh. And we need to break it up a little. Hopefully that's a little better. I definitely need some of that neon yellow still in this yellow to keep it bright, because I think it's just too messed up. My own fault. This one is very pale, so let's get some more colour into this. So I definitely need to get better at the colour saturation of these, because this definitely comes out very pale, but I will get there. Now I'm painting ones I've dried rather than getting the other ones done, but I want to get them to a good colour saturation before I thing. Just doing a more green wash over that blue. I'm trying to give a better blend between the two, if that makes sense. Make it more of a shadow than a completely different colour, which is what it's supposed to be. So one thing with watercolours, it's so easy to do a wash over to slightly hint at the different colour. Right. At this point my water's getting quite green. Again, I want to try to break up that harsh line. Trying very hard not to have harsh lines, because it shouldn't have harsh lines. It should be a blend. Should be gently mixing into the two. So I think I'm going to dry them before I do these two, and then we dry to move on to the back. I think there's supposed to be a leaf there. Wow, that was way too much water. Let's try that. A little while about the because it's sticking up again. I still can't make that not stick up. I might just have to do another layer over it once I made it dry. You see, as I said, I'm learning, so it doesn't matter if it's taken me several attempts to get the look I want. Because it's going to take practice. If we were perfect first time, we'd never have anything to learn, and life would be very boring. Now I'm finding this a little harder than I anticipated. I'm still struggling more than I was hoping at this point with the blending. Um, I think I'm struggling with when it's not wet paper to blend. But she doesn't say wet the paper, so we're not supposed to. I'm just not getting the paint right. And this is part of the lesson, is learning how to do it. Right, I think it should be mostly dry. So I think it's still a little harsher on the blend. If I really want to go against what she says and pre-wet the paper, I know I just dropped water on the leaf I just dried, but if I ignore it, hopefully it won't bleed in or anything while I do this, and then I can just pick it up. There we go. So I don't want to bring the yellow too far down, because we've got the tip of the yellow there, so we want the green to be working with there, but I can bring the yellow down there a little more, and then try to make sure it's wet enough there for the green to go in. Definitely not got enough green here, that's for sure. It's going to be very light. Need to put some more on. There we go, it's a bit better. I think I'm going to leave this mostly this green, and I'll just drop a little bit of the blue on it. Oh, I might go more, make it even darker, because it's going to be behind quite a bit, isn't it? Trying not to have that harsh line again, which let's a more concentrated blue here, I think. Trying to make it darker because it is quite far behind, and then we just kind of encourage it up a little like that. See how that will work. Do the same here. Need it to be much darker so it stands out against that one there. Otherwise it's just going to blend in, which we don't want. No. Yeah, gotta make this wet again because I'm still struggling to make it blend. Please do tell me what the tips and tricks are for when you're doing wet. I know we had the honeycomb practice for it, and I think I need to redo the honeycomb lesson to try to learn the wetness of the paper versus the brush. And I'm trying to remember, there was another lesson for water versus brush type thing that I need to redo clearly. I'm definitely still struggling a lot with it. But, you know, this is only my how many paintings have I done at this point? I've not done money. You know, there's only 20 total, and I've still got quite a few to go. Is this my fifth or something? Fifth, sixth, something like that. Can't quite remember right now. So, you know, I'm not going to be brilliant at this point because I'm still learning. You know, it's going to take more than a few paintings for me to learn how to do it all. But that's why I like this book, because instead of just following a video lesson, I can just pick up this book, and decide which one to do. And I believe I saw her mention that we can get printouts of these from somewhere. So I can even pre-print the images if I want. So that way I can use my graphite paper to then draw onto my watercolour paper. So I'll probably do that at some point, so that I can practice these all again and try to get better at them. I need to pull these slightly closer to this one because it's leaving a white gap. See, and there shouldn't be a white gap between them. They are overlapping. Right. Just trying to make sure there's more colour on here because it was a little yeah, we need okay, so let's make that dry, and then we got to do the background, which is where the magenta comes in, which is almost dried out. I'm gonna have to make it white again. I'm trying not to blow the puddles of water around too much. I don't mind a little, but not too much because I want the water to stay where it was, the colour to stay where we put it. So definitely haven't got that nice smooth blend that she has. I don't. I'm clearly just not putting enough water and paint on the paper. I need to put more in, but I keep worrying about making it buckle too much, which could be a me issue because I don't tape it down well enough. I try, it's not working very well. It's important to make sure this is thoroughly dry at this point because when we're working around all of the edges, putting that pink down, and we don't want it to blend in. The thing is, I can do these now. In like a year's time, when I've done more, I can come back, repaint them all, and compare how they've done. And then I will know how much I've improved. I think that's my plan, is to revisit all of these paintings in a year's time. I would check the date of each one that I did, and then try to do exactly a year, but it depends on timings for things what I can do. But do check back if you're interested in seeing my improvements. Or if you're watching this in a year's time, compare my new videos to the old ones. But I just think it's important to show the progress of learning and not being perfect all the time. Because with the fact that is now AI trying to knock out art quickly, showing the work and the progress that goes in and why it's better to have someone who started off like this and then eventually improves is much better than a machine that doesn't actually understand what it's doing. Right now, I don't understand what I'm doing, but in a year's time, it will hopefully have a better idea on how I work these things. Someone who's been doing this for absolute years will be way better than any AI stuff. We will keep going. I think we're good. Right. Okay, so I think we're doing quite more of a wash for the background. Let's have a look, see. yeah, so we're just basically doing the magenta, but it's going to be in various depths of wash. So we just kind of start with a deeper magenta around the edges, and then we're kind of washing it out, but it's not a full gradient, it is a kind of mix. So we'll see how that goes. So just gonna lift this up so I can get into that bit. Do just kind of filling this in because of course it's the tape. I'm just gonna spray some more in here because we want this to be much lighter. The point is to have some light and some dark. I kind of want to wash it out while still keeping in there. Try to have watered down amount. As I said, she doesn't have it's a smooth gradient, she has light and darker bits in, so that's what I'm trying to do. It's mainly darker around the leaves and lighter at the edge, but it also has variation between them. I'm not sure I like painting around things. My hands aren't steady enough. I understand why she's had us do that, because the pink on these leaves would have been very distracting. But I'm struggling with the thing. I think I probably would have preferred to put some of that masking fluid stuff around the edges of the leaves, paint the thing and then remove the masking fluid, because I'm not steady enough handed for doing this around the edge thing. But again, that's part of all this artwork, is trying to get my hands to be steady handed again like they used to be. So working on it, you know. Still want the darkness to be in a few places and blend out more. I just went straight over the leaf there. See, my hands are not stable enough for this. But it's still fun, so I don't care. thing is, where it's going over, it's giving this pretty orange. And I think that just helps with like a glow, because this is supposed to be, she calls it a sunset one. So it's supposed to have some kind of nice glow to it, really. So I think when I go over slightly, there was a mess up. I think it just adds to the glow of the image of the sunset, you know? That makes sense? We're getting there, aren't we? So if anyone is also into puzzling games, I do have a second channel, which is Sonia Jones Puzzling Games, where I do jigsaw puzzles and computer games that are usually puzzle in nature, but not always. Sometimes I do like a horror game during October for spooky season, which I'm not good at. But it's fun. Sometimes I do two-player games with my husband Duncan, playing things like It Takes Two. So do check that out if you like puzzle games and want to show your support. It's all linked in my bios and things. I link everything together. And I do stream on Twitch. Not quite as often as I'd like at the moment, but hopefully soon I will be streaming more often. So by the time you see this, I should hopefully have moved my desk upstairs and I won't be interrupted as much. We're almost done on this. What do you guys think? Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? Am I staying the same? Am I learning nothing? If I'm learning nothing, it is not down to the book. It is entirely down to me and my inability to understand what I'm doing. Because she goes very much into the amount of paint and the amount of water and how much it's all supposed to come together. I'm just struggling with it. But I will get better, you know, it's just going to take practice, isn't it? Right, should we make that dry and see what it looks like? I think a good chunk of it's already dry. But it's bubbling up again. I don't know how to stop my paper from bubbling up. I know I say that every single time. But it's because I still don't know. Like I said, I do pre-film at least a month in advance. So that I can make sure I can get them out, because when I'm doing wall shows, which for July and August I'm doing a lot of wall shows really close together. So I need to pre-film to make sure that you guys get your content while I'm off doing work. So it could be that somebody gives me advice on an earlier one, but I haven't implemented it yet because I'm pre-filming. But at the moment, no one's giving me any advice. I guess all those watching are also learners, so they haven't had a chance to learn how to do things better yet either. But as I was saying, some watercolour artists make this look so easy, and it's really not. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew it was going to be very, very hard. Because it's such a different technique doing acrylic oil paints. But yeah, some of them make it look so easy. It's just amazing. Right. I think we're dry. There we go. So what do we think? It's not terrible. Let's just take that back down a minute. So that stays there. So we were supposed to do this. Supposed to do that, and I done that. What do we think? My pink is much brighter than hers, but as I said, I'm just using a magenta that I have, which might not necessarily be the correct magenta. I'm still getting some harsh lines. I think I need to go back through her lessons on how just working with the water and the paint rather than a wet page and how I get it to blend better, which she has in the book, totally tells you how to do that. I just think I need to redo it a few times to really understand it. But otherwise, it is done. Check back next week. We are doing, let's have a look what we're doing next week. Oh, okay, a little terrified. Next week, we're doing that. Birds of a feather. I'm terrified. If I'm struggling with this, how am I meant to be able to do that? Wow. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. I might try to get some more practicing in before I film that one. But part of all this is to show a complete beginner doing it, so it does. If I mess it up, it doesn't matter. It's to show you that art is art, whether you're perfect or not. And I'm hoping you're starting to understand that you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to use AI to get your artwork. Just do yours. It's got soul, it's got feeling, and it's got mistakes because we're human and we make mistakes, and that doesn't matter. So I'm going to go before I get on another AI rant. But I will see you all later. You'll take care. Bye.